We have gotten to UFC Baku. I wasn't sure if they were actually going to keep this in Azerbaijan, just with all the stuff going on right now in Western Asia, but I guess they're staying there. I was worried that this was going to get moved to the Apex, but I guess not. So, yeah, the card starts off terrible, as most Fight Night cards do, and then it starts to pick up. We're going to get through some terrible fights and eventually find the good ones. Starting with Hamdi Abdelwahab versus Muhammad Usman. I don't know how this guy is still here. He's a known steroid cheat. He's popped for steroids, I think, twice. And I know you're thinking, how? Look at him, you know? He literally looks like your average Little Caesars customer, you know? Like, he does not look like he trains in anything, let alone MMA, or let alone pop for steroids. But he has. He's popped for steroids. In his last fight, in his fight against Jamahal Pogues, he very clearly was not on steroids, and he looked like shit. And he barely beat Jamahal Pogues. I think Muhammad Usman's going to win. And he's a slight underdog. It's almost even money, but I think he's going to win. I think he's longer. I think he's just as powerful. I think he moves better. I also think he might even be a little bit more well-rounded in terms of all of the aspects of MMA. So I'm going to take Muhammad Usman. I'm not the most confident in it because it is heavyweight, and we don't really get to see heavyweights very often, so who knows what's going to happen, but I'm going to take Muhammad Usman. I think he gets it done by decision just because of how out of shape both these guys are, but he does have the power to get a finish. Tagir Ulanbekov versus Azat Maksum. This guy's not bad. Azat Maxim. He lost his last fight, obviously, to Charles Johnson. And then before that, he beat Tyson Nam by split decision, which isn't the best looking. I don't see him beating Tagir, man. I'm going to be honest. I just don't see the skills. Like, Tagir's very, very skilled. Even in Tagir's fight, which I think was close against, what was that guy's name? The white dude, Clayton Carpenter. It was a close fight, but I think Clayton Carpenter's really, really underrated, and Tagir handled him decently well. And I don't think Azat Maxim's on that level. I think Tagir gets this done by decision. I think he holds top control very, very well, especially being with these lighter guys. A lot of times you don't see them being able to hold top control very well a lot of times because everyone scrambles so well because the skill gap is so high. But he does a good job of holding top position. That's how these Dagestanis are. So I'm gonna take Tagir by decision. Irina Alekseeva versus Claudia Segula. Yeah, I mean, rule of thumb. By the way, we've got back-to-back fights in women's bantamweight. Shoot me in the head. I don't even know I'm gonna watch these. I know I am, but if I could, I would walk away from the TV and go make a snack or something because I don't want to watch this shit. Rule of thumb is, again, you just pick the one that looks like fuck man. I'm taking Irina Alekseeva because she looks like a fucking man. I'm not breaking down this fight or the next one. I don't care. Daria Zalesniakova versus Melissa Dixon, who I think is Melissa Mullins. But yeah, I'll take Melissa Dixon. I don't know, man. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not breaking this shit down. Moving on from this. I'm not breaking down unranked women's bantamweight fights, okay? I don't give a fuck. Ismail Nurdiev versus Jun Young Park. Ismail Nurdiev was supposed to be really good, wasn't he? And then his last few performances were just not good. Okay, yeah, he made his debut against Bruno Silva. I think Bruno Silva sucks. Like, he's old. If you don't beat Bruno Silva, what are you doing? I think Jun Young Park gets a sub here. There's a very good chance. I think Jun Young Park is way better on the ground, and his offensive wrestling is very good. And we didn't see Nardiev get tested in that too much in the Bruno Silva fight. I trust Jun Young Park. I trust his grappling skills to be able to take down Ismail Nurdiev and sub him. I think he gets a sub. What did I put on Tapology? Let's see. I put sub in the third round for Jun Young Park. We'll go Jun Young Park. I think he's better just on the ground in general. And I don't think he gets chinned. We'll take him. Seokhyun Ko versus Oban Elliott. I'm taking Oban Elliott. Obviously, I think most people are. I'm actually going to look onto Tapology right now and see 93% have Oban Elliott winning this fight. And 33% have him by KO. I have him by KO also. Second round. He's just really underrated, dude. He's really good. He was supposed to fight someone else recently, and he's well-rounded, powerful, quick at the same time. I don't see him being a ranked contender maybe, but I do think that he is going to destroy these guys outside of the rankings. I'm going to go Oban Elliott. I think he gets a second round finish. Muhammad Naimov versus Bogdan Grad. A lot of people are taking Muhammad Naimov, I'm pretty sure. Dude, 80% of people are taking Muhammad Naimov. I'm taking Bogdan Grad by first or second round finish. Dude, I think he's really underrated. And this is a really tough matchup because Muhammad Naimov is essentially like a hometown guy in this situation. And he's really powerful. But like, I don't know. His resume, it's good. He has good wins. Jamie Malarkey, Nathaniel Wood. Konoff Lee, meh. Okay. He loses to Felipe Lima by sub. That's nothing to scratch your head at. It's Felipe Lima. But Bogdan Grad, even on the regional scene, the highlights I've seen of this guy are really impressive. And in his debut, obviously against Lucas Alexander, he beat the fucking brakes off of Lucas Alexander the whole time, and then he finally got a ground and pound finish. It wasn't close. And as we saw his contender series fight against Michael Aswell has one of the better chins I think I've seen in a while, to be honest. Like, he just takes punishment and never stops moving forward. You're gonna get tired against a guy like that, which is what happened in Bogdan Grad's fight on the contender series. I think he's gonna finish Muhammad Naimov, dude. And if he doesn't, I don't want him to be cut from the UFC. I want him to stick around for a little bit longer. I have high praises for Bogdan Grad. He's very high, tight guard, walk you down, finish you style, which I love. I don't like to sit back and wait and win a decision game. I just think that the pressure is going to get to Muhammad Naimov and he's going to get finished. I'm going to take Bogdan Grad. He's like a 2-1 underdog, basically. So, Nazim Sadikov versus Nicholas Mata. Nicholas Mata has even though he's not, the fat Mexican, he looks kind of like the fat Mexican that has a really, really good chin, that style of fighter. And that's just kind of how he is. It's hard to put away Nicholas Mata. He's war ready. He does get put away, don't get me wrong. But it is tough. Like, you need to land a very, very clean shot. And I don't think Nazim Sadikov has that just one punch, one elbow, put you down and put you away kind of power. I think he's more of the pick at range, be very, very technical and defensively responsible at range, land good knees, have good clinch work. Just be very fundamentally sound. As much as I like watching Nicholas Mata fight because he is game, I don't think that this style is good for him. I'm going to take Nazim Sadikov. I think he gets it done by decision. I don't think Nazim's going to be able to open up in combinations and get a finish at all. And I just don't think Nicholas Mata is going to have much for a guy that's so light on his feet and so well versed in the tit for tat game as Nazim Sadikov is. So we'll take him. I think he wins by decision. Tafik Musayev versus Miktabik Oralbai. A lot of people don't know who the fuck this guy is. I didn't know who the fuck this guy was. I had to go do some research on this guy. He has really heavy hands. He's on a few fight win streak over at Ryzen, which is decently impressive, I guess. He's on a 2-fight win streak over at Ryzen. He was at Bellator for a while, but he hasn't fought in 2 years. His grappling is a little bit shaky when it comes to like takedown defense. Just once you get to the ground, it seems like he doesn't have a lot of answers. And Miktabik Oralbai, as we've seen in the past when he fought, what's that guy's name? Rebecki? What was that guy's name that he fought that he had a war with? Mateusz Rebecki. Like, he's down to have war. So he has a chin. He does take a lot of damage, which I don't like, but he is also decently skilled on the ground. I took Miktabik Oralbai by sub. I think he gets a sub in, what did I put here? I put round 2 or 3. I think it'll be a later sub. I think Musayev does slow down as his fights kind of progress. I think Miktabik Oralbai is going to end up wearing on Musayev. He might get dropped and we get into the ground game, and Oralbai is just going to have all of the answers, and he'll find the back and get like a rear naked choke or something. And I love watching Miktabik Oralbai fight, and I want him to win. We'll take Miktabik Oralbai by late submission. Curtis Blades versus Rizvan Kuniev. Dude, this fight I wouldn't be surprised if this gets canceled again. This fight has been booked for, I think like a year and a half or a year or some shit. That's not true. Not a year and a half, because Tom Aspinall fought like a year ago when he beat Curtis Blades. I think this fight has been booked for literally like 9 months. And I have a hunch Rizvan Kuniev fought, what's his face? Renan Fajeda. He beat Renan Fajeda. I think he was on steroids also, which is why I got turned to a no contest. Again, like, how is that guy on steroids? You know, like, look at him. That's pathetic. He beat Renan Fajeda. Francis Ngannou also beat Renan Fajeda dominantly. I think that this is kind of going to be a thing where the UFC wants Curtis Blades to run through Kuniev and be like, look, our top 5 contender just beat the guy that beat Diego Fajeda too. Ngannou, you beating Fajeda now, does that mean? Our number 5 contender just beat the guy that beat Fajeda. So who cares? That's kind of the vibe that I get. I think that the UFC is kind of setting this up in a way that makes them look good. And I also think that it's a thing where Kuniev's like, oh, I'm worth more. I beat the best guy over at the PFL. I'm worth money. I'm worth a lot of money. And the UFC kind of lowballed him. They were like, okay, here, how about this? We'll give you a high profile fight, but you have to take like the 25 and 25 contract. Like, you have to take this shitty contract, but we'll give you a good fight. I think that's the vibe that I'm getting here. And I think Curtis Blades runs through him in the first round, blasts a double leg, and demolishes him with elbows. I think that it is all set up and planned to go that way by the UFC. I think that they did this on purpose. That's the hunch that I have. That's the reason that I have this matchup even here. Why is he only a minus 265 favorite? Are we being serious? What the hell? Anyways, moving on. We have made it to the co-main event. Ignacio Bahamondes versus Rafael Fiziev. I'm taking Ignacio Bahamondes. I think that Fiziev's power, it's left him a little bit ever since we saw him KO Renato Moicano pretty badly. He doesn't have that anymore, I don't think. And he's taken a lot of punishment since, especially in the 2 Gaethje fights. Getting dropped by Gaethje bad, his knee exploded against Mateusz Gamrot. Even in the RDA fight, he was getting clipped by some really brutal shots. I think that his Marauder style of just like high tight guard, march forward, nasty body kicks, switch kicks to the body. I think the style is like, you have to have like a certain mental, like you have to be a psycho to have that. And with all the punishment that he's taken, dropping his last 3 fights, I don't like that for that mindset and that style of fighting. And Ignacio Bahamondes is so much bigger. I saw some things saying that Ignacio Bahamondes was 6'3", not 6'2". He's gonna have such a big reach advantage. I think that he's gonna have like a pull counter or something at some point that's gonna hurt Fiziev. And it's going to make Fiziev reluctant to get into like pocket exchanges that he likes. And the body kicks, like the switch kicks to the body, like they sound like gunshots. Yes. But is he even going to be able to land them with the length and the reach that Ignacio Bahamondes has? Ignacio Bahamondes can just paw out, and the second he sees Fiziev's hip switch to throw the switch kick, he'll just take half a step out of the way and he's already out of range. And that's where Fiziev sets up most of his attacks, is off of those body kicks, off of those rips to the body with the lead hook. Can he cross the void as well as he could in other fights? No. I think Ignacio Bahamondes wins this by decision. I think he wins 30-27, maybe 29-28. But I don't see him having problems with he has such a big size advantage. And Bahamondes has he has a good chin too. Very underrated chin. And the only guy he's lost to as of recent is Ludovic Klein, who I think is really good. I'm taking Ignacio Bahamondes by decision or late finish. I don't think Fiziev gets finished though. Because when Fiziev gets rocked, he's back. Like in the Gaethje fight, when Gaethje framed off with his left hand in the clinch, and then as he was swooping around with his head, he threw an uppercut and it landed. Fiziev got dropped, and then he was back to it like right away. It was kind of just like a flash thing. So I don't think he gets finished. We'll take Bahamondes by decision. Next up, Jamahal Hill versus Khalil Rountree. I think Khalil Rountree is overrated. How many people? Oh my God, 71% are taking Rountree by KO. I'm taking Jamahal Hill. I think people are holding so much value to Khalil Rountree's performance against Pereira, because it's like, oh, he took Pereira 4 hard rounds. Yeah, but high and tight guard, he's not going to get caught with a left hook in the first round. Styles make matchups. Also, Pereira was like throwing up the day of the fight. He had the flu, and he still knocked him out. Khalil Rountree robbed Dustin Jacoby. He might have been losing the Anthony Smith fight. Debatable. I don't think he was, but I've heard some people say that. I've seen that narrative. I think it's a very casual take to say, like, oh, Khalil Rountree took Pereira 4 rounds. He beats people up like they owe him money. Oh, it just seems very casual to me, and I understand that Jamahal Hill's footwork is so sloppy, and he doesn't look in shape and all this bullshit. Difference between Jamahal Hill and Khalil Rountree is Khalil Rountree has a very Muay Thai style, high and tight guard, march forward style of fighting, but he does slow down, and Jamahal Hill has a style that is very much, he's setting traps. And as ugly as his fighting style is at times, because I know, like, you see the guy fight and you're like, what the hell? Like, this guy's tripping over himself in the first round. You're supposed to be fresh, man. What the fuck is going on? But as, like, even in the Glover fight, he was setting up high kicks first and second round. And then by the time the 5th round came around, he was setting up high kicks. He had low, high. He had everywhere picked apart. And Glover slowed down. Khalil slows down as the fight goes because he puts so much into every shot because that's his style. You know, it's KO you or pray for a decision, I guess. He puts so much into every single shot. It's a recipe for disaster, I think. It's going to be a lot smaller than Jamahal. And I don't see him catching Jamahal Hill early. And he doesn't have the power that I think Pereira does. Like when Pereira put out Jamahal Hill, I don't think Khalil has like the one shot. He does though. What am I talking about? He totally does. I'm going to take Jamahal Hill. I'm going to take him by late finish. I just don't like the fact that Khalil Rountree slows down so much as the fight goes. Jamahal Hill just sets traps as the fight goes. He feints a lot too. He works off of the feints. And nowadays in MMA, it seems that people just like throw feints to throw feints. They're not like working off of them as they should. I know I gave Sean O'Malley a lot of shit in my last rant, but he works off of feints. So does Jamahal Hill. That serves you very well for a guy that has a very high and tight guard, like Sean O'Malley against Chito Vera. Chito Vera is very high and tight. You feint upstairs, he's going to shell up. There's going to be openings that are going to present themselves as the fight goes. And if Khalil doesn't finish him early, he's going to get tired and he's going to find an opening. I'm taking Jamahal Hill. I think he gets it done. I think I put on Tapology, I put 5th round TKO. We'll see what happens. But appreciate you for listening, for watching. Decent card. I think after this is UFC 317. Is that right? It is. Yeah. We got Ilya versus Charles next week. So appreciate you guys for watching. Like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.